Welcome to Kindness Stories, where true strength lies not in power, but in the courage to stand up for what's right. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that could change your day or maybe even your life. It all began on a gray Monday morning at Westwood High. The skies hung low, hinting at a storm, as the school buses pulled up and students trickled onto campus. For most, it was just another start to a regular week, but for Layla James, it was her first day at a new school, in a new town. With nothing but her tattered backpack and a tight knot of anxiety in her stomach, she walked through the gates with her head down, trying to stay invisible. Her long black curls were pulled into a tight braid, and her clothes were plain but neat. She had transferred from a city school after her father, a military officer, was reassigned to this quiet suburban town. Layla was no stranger to starting over. This was her fourth school in 3 years, but this time felt different, heavier. From the moment she stepped inside the building, she could feel the stairs. Westwood High was polished. The students wore designer shoes, carried the latest phones, and moved in tight-knit cliques. Layla didn't fit in. She knew that before she even reached her locker. By third period, she was already a topic of whispered conversation. She noticed the side glances, the smirks, and chemistry. She sat beside a girl named Clara who didn't bother to hide her disdain. When Layla tried to introduce herself, Clara just raised an eyebrow and turned away. At lunch, Layla walked alone, her tray wobbling in her hands. She scanned the cafeteria, searching for an empty table. Most were full. Laughter and chatter echoed through the room, but none of it included her. She finally spotted a table near the back, empty and isolated. She sat quietly, pulling out a book from her bag and pretending to read while she ate. That's when they approached her. 3 students stood before her table. Clara was in the center, flanked by Du Bois, Ethan, and Zane. They were clearly the kind who ruled the school. Clara with her sharp eyes and cruel smile, Ethan with his varsity jacket and arrogant swagger, and Zane, quieter but with a look that said he enjoyed watching chaos unfold. Well, the new girl, Clara said, crossing her arms. Didn't anyone tell you this table's reserved for people who matter? Layla looked up, trying to keep her voice calm. I didn't know. I can move. She began to gather her things, but Ethan placed a hand on her tray, pushing it slightly, making the food spill. No need, he said mockingly. We just wanted to welcome you, right, Clara? Clara smiled sweetly. Of course. It's not every day we get someone so unique. What's with the thrift store outfit? By the way, that a new trend where you're from? Layla felt the heat rising in her cheeks, but stayed quiet. She had dealt with bullies before. She knew reacting only made it worse. Maybe she doesn't speak English, Zane added. Or maybe she thinks she's better than us. The 3 of them laughed. And then, without warning, Clara reached forward and yanked Layla's braid. What's in here? Huh? Clara sneered. Secrets? Weapons? Or wait, are you one of those girls who hide snacks in her hair? Layla flinched as the pain shot through her scalp. Her tray clattered to the floor. The room went silent for a moment, and all eyes turned toward the commotion. Don't touch me, Layla said, her voice suddenly steady. Something inside her had shifted. Clara blinked, taken aback for a second. Then she laughed, too loud and too cruel. Oh, she speaks. Listen up. Everyone new girl says don't touch her. Ethan stepped closer, sizing her up. Or what? You gonna cry? That's when Layla stood. She was taller than Clara by an inch, and as she straightened her back, something about her changed. Her eyes, which had been downcast all morning, now locked onto Clara's with a calm intensity. I said, don't touch me, she repeated, louder. Clara reached for her hair again, probably thinking it was just a game. But this time, Layla's hand moved faster. In one fluid motion, she grabbed Clara's wrist, twisted it back not hard enough to injure, but firm enough to startle and stepped forward. Clara gasped. Let go of me. Layla leaned in. I warned you. And just like that, she released Clara's wrist and walked out of the cafeteria. The room buzzed with whispers. The next day, Layla returned, expecting retaliation. But surprisingly, no one approached her. The incident had clearly unsettled them. Rumors flew. Some said she had martial arts training. Others claimed she was Some kind of army brat who knew how to fight. The truth wasn't far off. Layla had been training in self-defense since she was 10. Her father made sure of it, but Layla didn't want to be feared. She just wanted to be left alone. For a few days, things were quiet. She kept her head down, attended her classes, and tried to ignore the stares. But Clara wasn't the kind to let things go. A week later, Layla found her locker vandalized. Someone had scrawled words across it in red marker, ugly names, cruel phrases. Her textbooks were missing. Her bag had been turned inside out and dumped on the floor. She didn't cry. She didn't run to a teacher. She simply picked everything up, cleaned the mess, and went to class, but someone had seen. His name was Micah. He sat 2 rows behind her in English, quiet, bookish, and invisible to most, but not to Layla. She'd noticed him scribbling in a notebook every day, lost in his own world. When she turned around to grab a pencil that day, he leaned forward and whispered, "I saw who did it." Layla blinked. "What?" Your locker. He said, "I saw Clara and her friends do it. I have pictures. I was going to show a teacher." Don't, Layla said instantly. "It'll only make it worse." Micah looked confused. "But you shouldn't have to deal with this." Layla paused, then nodded. "Thanks for telling me, but I can handle it." From that day on, Micah began walking with her between classes. He didn't say much, but his presence was enough to make the stairs feel less heavy. He started saving her a seat in the cafeteria, and slowly, a friendship began to grow. But the bullies weren't done. One afternoon, while walking home, Layla felt someone following her. She turned a corner and saw Clara and Ethan waiting by the sidewalk. Well, if it isn't the warrior princess, Ethan sneered. "Heard you been hanging out with the school's biggest nerd." Layla didn't respond. She kept walking. "Hey, we're talking to you," Clara said, stepping in front of her. "I have nothing to say to you," Layla replied. Clara's smile twisted. "Wrong answer." Ethan lunged forward, grabbing Layla's backpack. She spun instinctively, using his momentum against him. In seconds, he was on the ground, groaning. Clara screamed, rushing toward her, but Layla ducked and sidestepped. She didn't strike. She didn't retaliate. She simply stood her ground and said, "This ends now. If you touch me again, I'll report you. Not because I'm scared, but because you need to learn a lesson. You think this makes you powerful, hurting others? It doesn't. It makes you weak." Clara froze, stunned by the sudden confrontation. "You don't know anything about me," Layla added. "But here's one thing you should know: I fight back. Not with fists, but with truth. And trust me, it hits harder." With that, Layla walked away.